I'm going to show how to increase the stitches for a sleeve just on plain knitting. I've shown this before in other videos, but they were on patterned knitting that I had been doing. So this is a mock sleeve. I've just casted a few stitches and done a few rows of rib, and I've already done one lot of increasing, and as you can see the mark here, that's where it was increased at that end, and the mark on here. Now I'll show you how I did that. And you knit the first stitch on the needle, and then you knit into the front of the second stitch, and you put the wool over and bring that stitch through the loop, but don't take it off the loop off the needle. And then you put the needle into the back of that stitch and knit that stitch, and there you have that extra stitch on the needle. And that extra stitch at the start comes between the second and the third stitch that was on the needle. And then you knit to the end of that row, and you knit to the end of the row to the last 3 stitches, and that will keep the increasing mark level with the one that you did at the start. As you done it on the second stitch at the start, but you need to do it on the third on the end, because the extra stitch comes after that stitch that you're knitting into. And I'm at my 3 stitches at the end, so I'm going to knit into the front, put the yarn over and pull the stitch through the loop, but don't take it off, and then knit into the back of that stitch and then take it off. And there you have that extra stitch there, plus you have your 2 stitches left on the needle, which you knit, and that keeps it level. So you have 2 stitches at the start and the extra loop you made, and on the other end there's those 2 stitches left at the end and the stitch you made, the third stitch in. So the extra stitch is the third stitch in on both ends, and that keeps it level on both sides. And now I'll knit 1 or 2 more rows, and then I'll show you how to do a different kind of increase on the sleeve for the sleeve. Right, I've knit a few more rows, and now I will show you a different way to increase stitches. But you can see the 2 increases that I've done the way I just showed. There's the 2 increases on that side, and there and there on that side. But this way is a different way. Is you knit the first 2 stitches from the needle, and then you take the stitch in between the 2 needles. You take that stitch and put it on the needle, on the left hand needle, and then knit into the back of it. And there you have an extra stitch. That's a different way of doing it. Both ways are quite easy, there's nothing much to them. And I'll show you how you do it at the other end when I get to the end of this row. Right, I've knitted to the last 2 stitches, and with the right hand needle I'm picking up the stitch below in between those 2 stitches, and I'm putting it onto the left hand needle, and then I'm going to knit into the back of that stitch that I've just picked up, and then knit those other 2 stitches on the needle. And that's a different kind of increase. It's more like an invisible kind. I'll knit 1 or 2 more rows and then you'll be able to see that one better. There, I've knitted a few more rows to show the different kind of shaping, which I call it it's invisible shaping, because you don't see the other ones are done down here. The first 2 I did, the increasing stitches. You can see the little ridge across the bottom of the stitch where the stitch was added. But with this one here, it's not so prominent. It's harder to see. Some people might prefer to do it that way, or you can carry on doing it the other way. But those are 2 different ways of increasing the stitches for the sleeves. And if you like this video, give it a like and subscribe.